My Little Puggy, Chapter 3, written by Darth Will 3. Outside the door of Sugar Cube Corner, run by Mr. and Mrs. Cake, Rainbow, Tank, and the Wonder Pug stepped inside the very sweet shop that Pinkie Pie resided and paid her own room and board. Here was hoping that she would be more cooperative than Twilight. As Rainbow knew, Pinkie was an expert of having fun. How could she even resist playing with 4 little pug puppies? By the time the group of 6 entered the building, however, it was completely deserted. There were just baked goods, cakes, cookies, biscuits, pies, candy, cupcakes, muffins, coffee beans, and donuts, all across the stacks, desks, and display windows. Not a pony was to be found, except Rainbow. She guessed that the cakes themselves were out for a walk. But where was Pinkie, she asked herself. Cautiously, Rainbow looked around before she inquired, Is there any pony home? Suddenly, from behind the desk, Pinkie Pie popped her head and shouted, Hi, Rainbow Dash! Rainbow shrieked and flew right on the top of the chandelier. This was one of many times Pinkie would surprise her, and she hated those times. Why are you sitting on the top of the chandelier, Rainbow Dash? Asked Pinkie, innocently. Pinkie Pie, Rainbow seethed, hopping herself off into the air and back onto the floor. Don't you scare me like that! I scared you? Rainbow gave a heavy sigh. There was no use reasoning with Pinkie. Fleetfoot gave a yip, drawing Pinkie's attention to the Wonder Pugs. Pinkie gasped. She rushed over to the puppies and looked at them intensely in the eye, babbled, Oh, what fantastically fluffalicious furry little friends you have there, Rainbow! She giggled as Fleetfoot gave her a lick on the cheek. And quite kissy, too! Yeah, I noticed. The last time Pinkie used that phrase, Rainbow remembered, it was fantastically fluffalicious feathery little friend. And that was when they and the other ponies, Rarity, Twilight, Applejack, and Fluttershy, met Aloysius. How much more trivial could it possibly get? Where'd you get them? Asked Pinkie, not keeping her eyes off the puppies. It's not every day you find such sweet little angels with curly tails, flattened faces, and teeny-weeny paws. Yeah, they're really swell, Rainbow responded, nearly choking on the other word that began with an S and a W. That was a close call for her. Tank and I found these little guys in a bag, she continued. They've got no home. So I thought, well, maybe you look after them? Pinkie popped her eyes out in surprise. What? She squeaked, turning to Rainbow. Uh-oh, thought Rainbow, a sheepish smile showing on her face. That doesn't sound good. And it didn't. No, Pinkie rapidly put in, shaking her head. I got other responsibilities to worry about. Planning parties, baking the sweets, babysitting Pound and Pumpkin Cake. Oh yeah, the twins, chuckled Rainbow Dash, a mental slap hitting her across the head. I forgot about them. But more to the point, there are a number of reasons why I can't keep the puppies in the house. Number 1 is... Pinkie was rudely interrupted when she and Rainbow heard a sort of munching sound. They looked to their left to find a little pug puppy sinking his head into a vanilla cake, with pink icing on the window display. Rapid fire! Shouted Rainbow. Pinkie rushed over and pulled the puppy out before he could make a tunnel in the cake. How dare you eat the cake! She roared, looking at Rapid Fire face to face. Rapid Fire licked on the pieces of cake that covered his face, swallowed, belched, and panted. Sorry about that, Pinkie, said Rainbow as she walked over. I had no idea how hungry the puppies were. So, that's the reason number one, right? About the puppies being bad for business? Pinky gave Rainbow an ominous glare after putting Rapid Fire down and slowly walked up to her, causing her to step back towards the wall. I've dedicated my life for the cakes, Rainbow, she growled. This shop, the very existence of this business, depends on the goodliness of these goods. And your little doggy... She softly laughed a little before she slowly burst out with a demonic voice and fiery eyes.
Almost destroyed it!
I get it, Rainbow exclaimed hastily, her back against the wall. I get it. You eat it, you buy it. Say that you remember to pay for the cake, warned Pinky, her mood relaxing a bit. I'll be waiting. Rainbow gulped. Moments of Pinky being scary were rare. This moment, however, was the scariest yet. Now, continued Pinky, back to her characteristically cheerful self, on to reason number two. But before she could even begin with the verification of that reason, both ponies heard a whirring noise of a mixer. They looked behind them and could see two curly tails poking out of the bowl that swirled around. Worried, Rainbow ran over, stopped the mixer, and picked up the two puppies from the bowl. Spitfire! She chastised. Fleetfoot! This is a mixer, not a merry-go-round! Undaunted, the puppies were placed back to the floor and resumed their playing. So, Pinky, said Rainbow, you were talking about reason number two? Oh yeah, remembered Pinky. If you have a baby or two in your house, you'd have to take care not to let a dog scratch them and get fleas on them or have any barking wake them up. And unfortunately, I'm not fit to be responsible for either of those precautions. As for reason number three... Once again, she never got to finish that sentence. She caught eye of another puppy, and he was chewing on something that wasn't a baked product. It was green, scaly, purple-eyed, and had no teeth at all. Gummy! Cried Pinky as she ran over to her tiny pet alligator, whose tail the puppy's mouth was on. Pinkie Pie? Said Rainbow, unsure. I don't think Gummy's complaining. She was right. Gummy was just standing there, not the least bit disturbed by the puppy's actions. But then, he was never much a lively little alligator at all, except when he was attaching his mouth to Pinky multiple times a day. Ignoring Rainbow's remark, Pinky succeeded with minimum effort to dislodge the little puppy from Gummy's tail and looked at him in the eye. Okay, mister, she spoke severely. Gummy is not a chew toy. You may think you're acting like the alligator he is, but deep down inside, you're a pug. She paused for a second before repeating emphatically, a pug! The puppy said nothing. He just smiled and wagged his tail. Sorry about that, Pinky, said Rainbow while taking the puppy away from Pinky. Soren didn't know any better, that's all. Huh? Soren? Pinky was almost speechless for a moment before she started getting sentimental. Aw, Dashy, she sighed, giving Rainbow the rarely used affectionate nickname. You named this little guy after your boyfriend. Rainbow's eyes widened, her eyeballs shrank, her heart stopped beating for a few seconds before pumping a lot harder. Her face flushed redder than it did this morning at Fluttershy's house. He's not my boyfriend! She yelled after coming within close proximity of Pinky's face. Then, suddenly restraining herself and looking up toward the ceiling, she whispered, The babies aren't upstairs, are they? Nope, Pinky replied cheerfully. Mr. and Mrs. Cake took them on a picnic half an hour ago. Phew, Rainbow mopped her face, relieved. So, what was reason number 3 again? Well, began Pinky, since these little puppies are pugs, I can't afford to even sleep with them. They snort a lot. It'll keep any pony close to them up all night. Unless you're used to it, which I am not. Just then, they heard a snorting from Fleetfoot, another from Rapidfire, the next from Soren, and the last from Spitfire, as they all played along together. The snorts may have sounded loud, but they were as soft and tiny as the 6-inch Wonder Pugs themselves. See what I mean? Smiled Pinky. By the way, when you have animal trouble, go see Fluttershy. Rainbow looked away in disgust. For Pete's sake, Pinkie Pie, she groaned. Not you too. Pinky raised an eyebrow. Huh? Never mind, I can take a hint. Rainbow turned to her tortoise and said, Come on, Tank. Let's gather the Wonder Pugs and head out. Okie dokie Loki, chimed Pinky. Come again soon, Rainbow. After leaving Sugar Cube Corner, and the right amount of money for the cake on the counter, Rainbow couldn't help but feel frustrated. She stomped her hooves on the ground hard. In just one day, the Wonder Pugs had been turned down a home by 2 of the Pegasus's best friends for very good reasons. It was their advice that ticked her off. First Twilight, she complained. Now Pinkie Pie. Don't they know Fluttershy's busy enough as she is? Well, guys, she said to the Wonder Pugs calmly, looks like we'll have to find some pony else to give you a home. But who could... She stopped herself as another idea popped into her head. There was only one pony she knew who could be more than generous to give 4 pug puppies a home. Rarity!